What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and tonight we're going to be going through some real good news for Season 3 of Black Ops 6 multiplayer and even zombies. Definitely stay tuned. But in the background, we got some nasty nuke gameplay here in the Endurance Mosh Pit. This Mosh Pit, of course, doubles both the time and score limits in the match that you're in, whether it's TDM, Domination, Hardpoint. It's a must-play, especially if you want to get into some longer matches to get some camel challenges done, some challenges that you might not want to do in face-off, or if you just want to be in a long game to rack up a ton of XP, earn some high streaks. This could be the mode for you, and I'm sure it'll end up lasting until, let's say, the end of Season 2, but hopefully it ends up being permanent throughout the rest of BO6. With that, today is of course the 5-year anniversary of the original Warzone reveal trailer. Yes, the reveal of OG Verdansk ended up coming out 24 hours before the launch of the first Modern Warfare Battle Royale. Feels like it was just yesterday, but tomorrow officially marks the 5-year launch anniversary of OG Warzone. So I'm going to be live streaming pretty early in the morning, going over any potential marketing that does end up dropping for our third season. Call of Duty themselves did tease that additional info would be shared about Season 3 on the 5-year anniversary of Warzone. So we're less than 24 hours away from some brand new information. Now, unlike recent seasons, I would expect a ton of teasers to be sprinkled throughout the rest of March. Instead of just limiting it to maybe a week before launch, they'll probably be dropping new information every single week leading up till April the 3rd. Now, real quick, I also want to say thank you all for showing a bunch of love on my recent Modern Warfare 4 related content. That's Call of Duty 2026, a game that's pretty far away. Again, we have a whole Black Ops game to worry about before Infinity Ward's next title, but you guys have really crushed it on the support for those videos, and I'll of course make more if additional information does become available. But going on a trip down memory lane for a second, let's take a look at how substantial Season 3 has been in the recent Call of Duty installments. So going all the way back to Cold War, this was a pretty popular update. You got 4 new multiplayer maps, 2 of which were for 6v6, 1 supported both Face-Off and 6v6, and the last map was added in for Fireteam. Still a well-rounded update for just about every game mode this season, as you will see. I think Season 3 is typically one of the strongest in every Call of Duty, especially when it comes to multiplayer, which reminds me, right? Modern Warfare 2's third season was, I think, when multiplayer started getting back on track with the right support. It got good quality of life updates that it desperately needed, but also a ton of new 6v6 experiences that people were waiting for. The first 2 seasons prior really didn't add much, and people felt like those seasons were more focused on Warzone and DMZ, which I think some folks are actually worried about when it comes to Black Ops 6. Could this third season that seems to be focused on Verdansk and Modern Warfare actually outshine multiplayer a bit in the next month? We'll get back to that, but just to remind you of how great Season 3 was for MW3 last year, what is by far the gold standard for live service multiplayer support, this season added in 6 different multiplayer maps, with one of them being a reimagining and one of them being an area pulled from Rebirth Island. So while there wasn't any support for ground war or gunfight, this season added in the most amount of multiplayer maps we've ever seen with 1 content update. Or, I know it was split in 2, right, with Reloaded, but this was wild to see, and like I've said before, Sledgehammer did a phenomenal job with MW3 multiplayer. They may not have had to work on ranked play or zombies very much. I think they also co-developed the campaign with Infinity Ward, so it probably gave them a ton of extra time to work on MP that maybe Treyarch doesn't really have right now. Who knows, because Treyarch's obviously juggling zombies, MP, ranked play, ranked in Warzone, and what is likely to be Black Ops 7 COD 2025. So late last night, Gaming Insider The Ghost of Hope did report on the following information for Season 3 of Black Ops 6. Like I say with all rumors, take them with a grain of salt because this could be outdated information, but either way, still fun to discuss. He's claiming that allegedly, Season 3 will be adding in 4 to 6 brand new 6v6 multiplayer maps for BO6. I don't really know what to feel about this just yet because if you look at the way Season 2 was handled, we got 5 new multiplayer maps, 3 of which were for 6v6. One of those was, of course, the remaster of Grind, and the other 2 maps were for Face-Off. So that's 5 maps total. Is it possible he has some outdated or misinterpreted info, which means Season 3 will get 4 to 6 multiplayer maps in general, which would mean that maybe 3 of those are for 6v6, 2 for Face-Off, and maybe 1 more could be a big ground war Fireteam experience? I'm sure that would have been leaked out by now, but a couple of months ago, it was rumored by Semtex Leaks, another data miner, that Fireteam was supposed to come back back in Black Ops 6. Maybe they would be pulling from the big Avalon space that was meant for Warzone. Maybe they'll use that for a big map experience in MP, but I think it's a little unlikely we'll see that. If anything, I'm betting they'll probably do Fireteam in the next Call of Duty, so whatever Black Ops 7 is. But how perfect would it be if we got 4 to 6 6v6 specific maps that would pretty much put this season on par with MW3's third season, but with a twist, right? Maybe 4 maps could be for 6v6, and 2 of them could be for face-off or something, whether you're playing Gunfight or any other game modes within face-off. So even though Season 3 is meant to be a big throwback update with OG Verdansk, Modern Warfare weaponry, some classic operators, that doesn't mean that multiplayer also can't experience a little bit of throwback support. Would not be shocked if we end up getting at least one remastered map, which the Ghostophobe also teased on Twitter. He's claiming that apparently a real good remaster is coming, but he isn't sure if it's the only one. If we had to guess what map that could be, we could take a look at the list of Avalon remastered experiences that are actually points of interest that I'm assuming could be added to Warzone at some point, but we have Firing Range, there's Yemen, WMD, Hazard, Dig Site, and so many other really cool locales that I'm sure could be added into Black Ops 6 at any point this year, although I will say Yemen is probably going to be saved for Black Ops 7, the futuristic BO2 sequel. But if I had to think of what map could be added in, I wouldn't be shocked to see WMD or Firing Range. I mean, we just had WMD in Cold War, it was also in BO4, maybe they'll bring Firing Range back into the mix. We haven't seen that map since Black Ops 4. It actually skipped Cold War for the first time, which was odd to see. But there was also that rumor some time ago that Launch, a map from Black Ops 1, was also meant to come back in BO6. Maybe that'll also be thrown in at some point in the future. That's a locale that isn't available through the Avalon Warzone space, though. So that'll be a very exclusive remastered map, kind of like how Grind was with Season 2 Reloaded. But I love the idea of seeing original 6v6 maps or even original face-off maps day one, then saving the remasters for mid-season. That's probably how they'll do it again. Maybe save at least one reimagined experience for Season 3 Reloaded, which I'm assuming will be at some point in early May. Now, I'd also like to remind you of a ton of weaponry that was also leaked out back during Season 1 of Black Ops 6 that we still haven't even seen yet. So there were weapons like the SAR, a rifle, the M72 Law launcher, the 5.7 pistol. There have been whispers of the 1911 possibly coming back, even the Uzi. There have been quite a few rumored weapons that I didn't really mention at all in my recent Season 3 video talking about the Modern Warfare weaponry that has already been revealed through the recent Call of Duty trailer for International Women's Day, and those are also a given considering the return of OG Verdansk, but I wouldn't be shocked to see some Black Ops weaponry also thrown into our third season, and even some melee weapons. I believe there was an ice pick leaked out many months back. Who knows if that's still happening, but wouldn't be shocked to see some additional weaponry added during the mid-season through challenge events or the armory system, which again will be completely separate from the weapons we see with the initial Season 3 Battle Pass. I also believe the Pellington Sniper from Cold War is rumored for BO6, on top of some inevitable attachment mods or conversion kits that are probably going to be added within our third season. But my guess is that right now we're going to be seeing 2 big batches of weaponry in Season 3, one big batch at launch to celebrate the return of OG Verdansk, likely a bunch of Modern Warfare weapons, and another big batch closer to the Reloaded update, which might bring in some actual Black Ops weaponry so that it doesn't feel like a complete hijack of Black Ops this year with this Modern Warfare focused season. Now, there's also some other good news here. The Ghostophobe did mention zombies in a tweet last night and said that this could be the biggest season for Call of Duty Zombies, right? That would likely confirm that Mansion DLC 3 for round-based is going to be dropping in Season 3, which would mean that if it's at launch, April 3rd, that's going to be a big day. If you're talking about Verdansk and a new round-based map on the same release date, that's insane. And as a content creator who covers everything, it's going to be a long night, but I'm down for it, right? Excited to cover absolutely everything here for you guys. But with Zombies maybe having a launch at the start of Season 3 would mean that we're probably going to see some teasers posted all over Treyarch's Twitter. I mean, we'll probably see a separate blog post about it prior to the reveal of the official roadmap, unless they wait until the last second and just say, hey, as a surprise, DLC 3 for round-based is coming out during the launch window of Season 3. I also wouldn't mind if they waited a day or two after Verdansk came out before dropping some zombies, just to separate the launch a little bit and let each experience have their time in the spotlight. Either way, if Mansion is being saved for Season 3 Reloaded instead, that would mean that either April 24th or May 1st would likely be the midpoint of Season 3, when we could also see some pretty substantial Zombies content that folks have been waiting for. Now, what I'm thinking is the 5-year anniversary Warzone blog could be a little similar to the 115-day blog we got back in January, which did contain contain a little bit of early information about the next season. Obviously, that was a zombies-focused blog on January 15th, hence why we got info on the tomb, but maybe a couple of sentences could be in the 5-year anniversary Warzone blog mentioning, hey, expect a remastered map in multiplayer or DLC 3 on April 3rd alongside OG Verdansk. It's totally possible they teased that before we get the official roadmap. Apart from a round-based map, there have also been rumors of some pretty cool game modes being added in, like Grief and Turned. Would definitely expect quite a bit on the plates of zombies players, in addition to some likely gameplay upgrades like the rumored perk Double Tap, some other augments, and maybe even some additional gobblegums. But considering we're about to be at the midway point of the Black Ops 6 era, I'd be curious to see what other new enemy types they could introduce inside of Black Ops 6 Zombies. I mean, as I mentioned before, there's that rumored Mecha Klaus operator or enemy type that will apparently be present in a future map. Could be a friendly Klaus that the director has built in the basement of the mansion, or it could be a new enemy type altogether, although I am guessing we're going to end up seeing the Disciple and Abomination return within the mansion or Janus Towers. Any of that is probably a given at this point. Now, the last thing I'll end with is that we're essentially on track now with the original release date for Season 4 that we saw for just about every Call of Duty the last couple of years. Season 4 typically dropped around the second week of June, and looking at the current schedule, if Season 3 is as long as the original length of Season 2, that means our 4th season should be starting at around the same time, towards the very beginning of June. So I know Black Ops 6's post-launch kind of kickstarted a bit early, but with the delay of our 3rd season, pretty much got us back on track with the original release schedule of previous Call of Duty seasons from recent years. Now, if Season 3 hadn't been delayed, then we would have probably saw a May release for the 4th season. No big deal either way. I do believe Season 3 may end up being the biggest update Black Ops 6 will ultimately get this year, and on top of that, will end up being one of the most important live seasons in just about any recent Call of Duty, right? We're looking at what could be some great content in multiplayer, what is likely to be a very big drop for zombies, but an update in Warzone that will probably determine the future of Call of Duty Battle Royale as we know it. If rumors are to be believed, this season has to hit in order to ensure the longevity of Warzone altogether. I don't necessarily believe they'll ever really shut down Warzone for good, but I still think it's going to be a very important season that will probably shape up what the rest of this life cycle is going to look like. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on the interesting news that popped up from the Ghost of Hope over on Twitter? Do you believe the rumor about 4 to 6 6v6 multiplayer maps? Leave your thoughts down below. Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.